How many people sit on the sidelines of life, armed with countless excuses for why they don't pursue their dreams? I'm too old. That's a good excuse. As good as any, I'd say. Did you know Samuel L. Jackson's career didn't take off until his 40s?
There's a very distinct correlation of me changing my life and being focused and clear about what I needed to do and my success.
For Morgan Freeman, he didn't get his first big break until he was almost 50.
You just keep tap dancing, something good will happen. Don't sit down and say I can't, because then you can't.
Toni Morrison published her first novel at age 39.
We are already born. We are going to die. So you have to do something interesting that you respect in between.
She later went on to win the Pulitzer Prize at age 56 and a Nobel Prize in Literature at age 62.
Toni Morrison is the winner of the 1993 Nobel Prize for Literature.
Colonel Sanders made his millions with KFC, but it wasn't until the age of 62 that he founded the well-known brand.
Don't quit because you're 65, because you can do something quite worthwhile after that.
Look, all you need is one excuse to stop you from getting started. But you can't win if you don't play. And the truth is, the reason most people fail is they never even try. And then, for those who do take the first step, many give up at the first sign of resistance. When we're young, we're courageous. As we get older, we become more afraid of making mistakes. We don't want to look bad. We're afraid of what other people may think. But if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to be bad if you want to get good. You have to be willing to take risks if you want reward. Imagine if Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman gave up early on acting. Think of the movies and characters we would have missed out on. It doesn't really matter what excuse people have. I think it usually comes down to fear of failure. I'm sure you've heard it said that the road to success is paved with failure. Well, that sounds great on paper, but when you're met with your first setback, what was once a nice romantic idea quickly becomes a harsh reality. But here's the truth. You don't get to avoid making mistakes. Failure, setbacks, rejection, it's all part of the journey. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Maybe you've heard of Stan Lee. You know, the guy responsible for some of the most famous comic book characters of all time.
If there is something that you feel is good, something you want to do, something that means something to you, try to do it. Because I think you can only do your best work if you're doing what you want to do, and if you're doing it the way you think it should be done.
He got started in the industry at the age of 17, but didn't have his first major hit until he was almost 40 years old. Did you know that Stephen King's first novel was rejected 30 times before it was finally accepted for publication?
I started to type up stories on an old typewriter that I had, and I started to send them to magazines, and I pounded a nail into the wall, and I'd get the rejection slips back, and I would put them on that nail, and around the time that I turned 17 or 18, the nail fell out of the wall because there were so many rejection slips on it, so I got a bigger nail. And if there's any secret that I know to success, it's if you don't succeed, get a bigger nail.
What if he quit after the first sign of resistance? His perseverance built him a legacy in literature.
Now, you get an idea, you play with the idea, you get to the point where you say, well, I'm certainly not going to try to write that. That would be much too difficult, and I don't have the time anyway, and then you find yourself doing it anyway.
There were never any guarantees of success for the people that we talked about today. And if you pursue your dreams, I can't promise you what you'll accomplish or how far you'll get. What I can promise is this: you'll never get anywhere if you don't at least take the first step. And if you learn to embrace failure and keep moving forward in spite of it, who knows where you'll end up.